Hello there! Today's video is going to be kind of a postscript to the bookshelf tour that I did about a month ago. In that video, I mentioned that I have a box somewhere in my room in which I keep books that didn't fit on the juvenile shelf and picture books from my childhood. Picture books that were specifically mine. We have a lot more somewhere in this house, but they're in a closet somewhere and we can't get to them. So these are the books that I consider part of my personal collection, although there are a couple of interlopers. So I dug this box out the other day and I thought it would be interesting to show it to you. Here is the box! Oh, it's heavy. You want to know how big it is? This is the box. I'm gonna feel this tomorrow. Most of the books that are in this box I'll go through quickly. I'll just show you the cover and the title. But a few of them I will spend a little more time on because they're my favorites. I tried to pare it down to 4 or 5, so we'll see how I did. Up on the top level here, I have the books that wouldn't fit on the juvenile shelf. Right here, these are my Magic Tree House books. This one in front is the one that I always considered my favorite of the Magic Tree House books, Night of the Ninjas. I have about 11 of these. You know how terrible I am at counting things, counting books when I'm holding them up for you and filming a video. I liked these books well enough. I liked the historical significance and the front covers, and Mom liked the fact that they covered a disaster every now and then. But I did get kind of tired of how repetitive they get. The first chapter is always the same, and they filled the niche in my childhood, and then I moved on. But I couldn't part with the books, so I still have them. I just don't have them on the shelf. And in this stack, I have 2 books by Jeffrey Kelly, A Year's Worth of Trouble and Another Year of Trouble. These are short stories, comical short stories. And I have 4 of the Littles books. The Littles go, what is it? The Littles Give a Party, The Littles and the Big Storm, The Littles and the Great Halloween Scare, and The Littles Go to School. We have more of these in another room that belonged to my sister, and I also have this Little Critter mini novel. The Little Critter books are by Mercer Mayer, and I have a whole bunch of them. I don't know if I should say that I collected them, or they just gravitated toward me, but I have a fairly substantial stack in here. I have the little ones, the little critter books. Oh, whoops. Not that one. And not this one either. Wow. So I have these little versions. 2 of them are hardcover, and I have a few paperback minis. I'm not sure what to call them. Then I have this one, which is a little golden book. And then I have this stack here. The Little Critter books were very cute. They always had some little message or predicament that was going on, and I enjoyed them. They were not complicated. They're just little books for little kids, and I really enjoyed them. I don't know how I ended up with quite so many, if I was part of a mailing group, or this one is actually copyright 1975, so we had this in the house long before I came along, and so I would venture to say that my mom liked these books, and she started the collection, and I just took it on myself. So that's one thing, and this book that I showed you earlier, this is an attempt by Mercer Mayer, the author of all these books, to kind of graduate to another reading level. The character is the same character that was in these books, I think, but he's a teenager. So it was interesting. So that's that collection. I also have a collection of the Franklin books. Franklin is a turtle, and this was a club or a monthly subscription thing that my grandfather signed me up for. He signed me up for a lot of things. He paid for a subscription to Highlights for Kids, the magazine, and National Geographic World, or Nat Geo Kids. I can't remember what it was. There was a Puzzle Mania subscription. There was this thing, Top Secret Investigators, I think is what it was called. That was my favorite, where you got a kit every month. There was a mystery. It was centered in a different city somewhere around the world, and you were the detective, and you got 6 cards with very quirky characters who were the suspects. They had funny names and great characteristics. They were caricatures, really. And you got a book about the country in which the mystery took place, and there was an activity book, and it was so much fun. I loved it. I loved getting that every month, and I still have a lot of the material from that. I just couldn't bear to part with it. So the Franklin series is by Paulette Bourgeois. I definitely could not say Paulette Bourgeois when I was a kid. Franklin is this character. He has parents and grandparents and friends, and they are recurring characters throughout the series. And he has a little predicament in every book. Like in this one, he tells a lie, and then he has to deal with the emotional repercussions of telling that lie. In this one, he gets lost in the woods. And so this kit would have one of these books, and it would have a little trinket relating to the story. There would be an activity book, and then there would be another book that came with it. So by a different author, not from this series or anything, but some of the books that I have in this box, this is really hard to do. I'm really failing at this job of holding up the books. So some of the books that are in this box came with these kits, and yeah, so I had a good time reading these series. Franklin was kind of funny because he was a worrier, and he had a lot of emotional turmoil for a character in a young child series. I do still have one of the activity books that came with it. It had different heads and outfits that you could trace and then color them in. Tracing was good for me because I'm not much of a drawer. Okay, just for kicks, I'll also show you this. This is a Franklin and Me book where you were supposed to write in little things about yourself. Your name and your age and height and where you live and what you like to do at school and what your favorite stuffed animals are and everything. I was such a perfectionist that at a certain age I went back and erased some of the things that I had said and rewrote them in cursive. It's ridiculous. That's not the point. You're not supposed to go back and change things. So I thought it'd be funny to show you some of these. This is me now. My face looks like this. Yikes. I said I'm not very good at drawing. Here's my rendition of my favorite stuffed animal when I was a kid. This is my hand at age 7. Here's one of my favorites. This is great. This is my family. Isn't that so flattering? I don't know. I think I forgot to finish the page. That's why nobody has any hair. And they all look pretty monstrous. So yeah, that's that. That's a fun thing to get out every now and then so you can laugh at yourself. There were a couple other little series that I had an affinity for. One was the Spot books. These are not pop-up books, but they're the kind of book where you lift the tab and it reveals something underneath. I can't remember what those are called, but I loved Spot. I have a stuffed Spot somewhere around here, and I just thought he was so cute. So I still have these. Spot Goes to a Party, Spot's First Easter, and there's another one around here, Spot's First Picnic. And I also had a thing for Corduroy when I was little, Corduroy by Don Freeman. I don't have Corduroy or a pocket for Corduroy in this book, but I have this, which is a, I'm not sure what to call this, a reversible little book. Very cute. I have Corduroy's Halloween. I loved this. It also has little tabs, whatever you call them, that you flip up and reveal what's underneath. And I loved the pictures in this. Where am I? Loved the pictures and the colors and everything. I guess these are the only corduroy books that I have in this box. The rest of the books in the box are One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish by Dr. Seuss. There's a Cow in the Road by Reeve Lindbergh. Nana Hannah's Piano by Barbara Bottner. A Pussycat's Christmas by Margaret Wise Brown. The Baby Blue Cat and the Smiley Worm Doll by Ainsley Pryor. Two Good Friends by Judy Delton. Polar the Titanic Bear by Daisy Corning Stone Spedden. Emma's Vacation by David McPhail. Teddy Betty Bears, a collection of little poems and songs. Edward's Overwhelming Overnight by Rosemary Wells. Emma's Pet by David McPhail. Bear and Mrs. Duck and Bear and Roly Poly by Elizabeth Winthrop. These books are so cute. The bear in them is just adorable. We had 2 copies of The Mysterious Tadpole by Stephen Kellogg, so I took one of them into my collection. Mrs. Toggle and the Dinosaur by Robin Pulver. I loved the teacher in this book, Mrs. Toggle. She was so funny. This book called Underwear by Mary Elise Monsell. The Bunny's Alphabet Book by Lisa Bassett. Hotter Than a Hot Dog by Stephanie Colmanson. Little Bear by Elsa Holmlund Minerick. This is not officially my copy, but I decided I needed to have it in my collection because I loved it so much. We had 2 copies of Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day, so I took this one. Am I Beautiful? This is also by Elsa Holmlund Minerick. I didn't know that. Katie No Pocket by Emmy Payne. Dinner at the Panda Palace, also by Stephanie Colmanson, who did Hotter Than a Hot Dog. I also loved this book. Such a fun story. Great way to teach numbers. The Frog Prince by Paul Galdone. I'm not sure what this is doing in my box because this is not my book, and I didn't even really like this. The story was fine, but I hated the illustrations. Just the way everyone looked, yucky. Maybe I decided I liked it. I Love You, Bunny Rabbit by Shulamith Levy Oppenheim. Frog is Frightened by Max Velthuis. Noisy Nora by Rosemary Wells. Oh, I've got 2 Garfield books. I have Garfield's Night Before Christmas. This one was mine. And Garfield's Scary Tales. Where is it? Here it is. I was a Garfield fan when I was younger. I got the books out of the library. I also have this How to Draw Garfield and the Gang book. Where's My Teddy by Jez Alborough. Lost by David McPhail. Pigsty by Mark Teague. Somebody in the Three Blairs by Marilyn Tolhurst. And that's all that's in the box, except for some that I held out that are my favorites, which I will show you right now. The first of these 5 favorites is Moving Day by Cindy Tsekeres. I'm not sure that I'm saying that name right. I think we have more of these Tiny Paw books in the house. This is the only one in my collection, even though this isn't technically my book. This is one of our books, but I stole it. This is a really cute book about this family of mice that lives in a little house, and it starts leaking, so they need to find a new place to live. I just absolutely love the illustrations in this book, especially the illustration of the little baby. In every picture, he is so cute, and so it just makes the whole thing a delightful read. See? Adorable. Look, here's another one. So that's Moving Day. Also have, there's a running theme among these 5 favorites. They're all cute. This is a twofer, so this counts as 2 and 3. 2 books from Candlewick Press, both by Martin Waddell and Barbara Firth. We've got Can't You Sleep, Little Bear, and Let's Go Home, Little Bear. Can't You Sleep, Little Bear is about a little bear who is supposed to be going to sleep, and he can't because he doesn't like the dark. I love the gentleness of the interactions between Big Bear and Little Bear, and I can't stand the face. It's just so... So yes, this is a definite favorite of mine. I admit that there were several times that I went through it just to see the pictures. Same goes for Let's Go Home, Little Bear. I think I liked Can't You Sleep, Little Bear just a little bit more. Let's Go Home, Little Bear is about the two bears walking home, and the little one is lagging behind, and the big bear keeps turning around and saying, "What's wrong? Why are you stopping?" And the little bear is hearing all the noises in the woods, plopping and dripping, and he wants to know, what's this, what's that, and he's kind of spooked, and so finally the big bear picks him up and carries him home, and it just gives you a warm, fuzzy feeling inside, you know? I don't know how easily you can find these books anywhere, but if you can, I definitely recommend them. They're wonderful. Number 4 is one that I'm not sure if it's right to call it a picture book because it's an adaptation of a much longer book. This is The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. Not sure who did the illustrations for this. It's retold by Louise Betts and illustrated by Karen Pritchett. This is a book that was on my second grade teacher's bookshelf. In second grade, we had a thing, I think it was a weekly program called DEAR, which stands for Drop Everything and Read, and during that time, we were supposed to pick up a book and just read for, I don't remember how long, half an hour. It seemed too short to me at the time because even when I was in second grade, I loved reading. I would much rather spend my time reading than doing most of the other things in school, and this was a favorite of mine to get off the shelf. I think this was not my introduction to The Secret Garden. I think I had seen a movie before this, but I just loved the illustrations. Not the illustrations there, because it's a blank page. I loved the illustrations. It didn't bother me at all that the story was abridged. I was in second grade and I didn't care. I liked that it had the mystery and the sadness and the beauty of the story. Of course, I couldn't put it into words back then. But at the end of the year, my teacher went through a big spring cleaning, and some of us were cleaning out the bookshelves, and we were supposed to take out anything that was ripped up or damaged, that couldn't be read anymore. Or maybe I'm remembering it wrong. Maybe we were allowed to take a book that we wanted just as a thank you for doing the work. But because this one was ripped, I don't know if you can see, there's a big tear in the last several pages. Because it was ripped, I said, "This one's damaged, can I take it home?" And she said yes, and I was forever grateful. So this is one of my prized possessions in my book collection. This last one is one that I would say is definitely a favorite. Whenever I try to think, what's my favorite picture book, this is the one that comes to mind. I think my mother would also say that it's a favorite of hers, not from when she was a kid, but from when she was reading to me and reading with me. This book is Old Bear by Jane Hissey. This is a lovely book, lovely illustrations, and an even lovelier story. This one bear, Bramwell Brown, remembers one day seeing his friend Old Bear being packed up and taken to the attic, and he wonders what happened to him and decides that they should go visit him. So he and his fellow stuffed animals devise all these methods of trying to get up to the attic so that they can see Old Bear. They have several faulty attempts, and that's a fun adventure, but then when they do get up to the attic, they find Old Bear, and it's just a really sweet moment. So it's a great story about love and friendship and adventure and remembering old friends, and I love the memories that are tied up with it, of reading it with my mom. And really, that's the case with most of these books. I love the memories that they recall of being a kid and reading them by myself or with my parents or with siblings. If I ever find more, I might show them to you, although considering how long this has taken, if I showed you the rest of them, we would be here for hours. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you have any thoughts on any of the books that I showed you, any questions. I'd love to hear if any of those were also your favorites as well. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye!